for BamaCentral.com. I'm Katie Windham here with Austin Hannon after Alabama's 40-17 win over Mississippi State in Starkville on Saturday night and maybe Sunday morning. At this point, I'm not quite sure. But Austin, what were your biggest takeaways from the Crimson Tide's win tonight?
Yeah, I think this was a big game for a lot of reasons. Obviously, everybody knows this was not going to be the challenge that next week will, and they wanted to kind of get warmed up for that. It's their first road environment, and listen, it was loud in here before the game, the beginning of the game, first half. Mississippi State got the game back down to 17-10, and the fans got right back into it. And then they kind of they messed around, didn't really play very well, which we've kind of gotten used to seeing from Mississippi State over the last few years, especially for Will Rogers, who's really struggled a lot. And it was just kind of what you've seen in this matchup for years now. I mean, Alabama kind of comes in, they dominate the line of scrimmage, they ran the ball really well, they didn't really throw the ball at all. It didn't have to. Jalen Milroe made a couple nice plays with his feet, and he didn't turn the ball over, and that's all you really needed to do. So good performance from the defense for the most part. The offensive line looked great in pass blocking and in run blocking, and no turnovers. You forced 3, so everything there is good. So and usually that results in a win like this.
Yeah, I think just a little bit we got to talk to the players after the game. I think the defensive players are frustrated with that touchdown they gave up at the beginning of the second half, letting Mississippi State go down the field. But other than that, the defense looked really solid, forced 3 turnovers, which has been big for them. Like you said, Jalen Milroe was efficient. He maybe held on to the ball a little too long a couple times. We did our just a minute on sacks, and they gave up some sacks today. They weren't all the offensive line's fault. In fact, I'd say most of them probably weren't tonight. But like Saban said in the postgame, they didn't necessarily replicate what they were able to do in the second half against Ole Miss, but there's a lot of good things that they want to continue to build on as they get deeper into SEC play. And ultimately, the biggest positive is Alabama's still 2-0 in conference play at the top of the SEC West. You look at LSU losing to Ole Miss tonight. Alabama already beat Ole Miss. The West is already beaten up on each other, folks, and so that's.
I think they just looked a lot more comfortable tonight. You know, you think back to the Texas game, the USF game, it didn't seem that way. And beginning last week in the second half, and now tonight, even in a road environment like this, it didn't seem like there was any freaking out, any anxiety, as Coach Saban called it last year. Really no penalties, no pass interferences, no jumping offside, false start, all the penalties that seemed like they got a lot last year on the road. It didn't happen tonight. So obviously that can change next week, but we'll have to find out.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few of those. You had the first series on offense, which wasn't great. But then I think what's important is after that, they did rally, play well. And like I said, they're now 2-0 in SEC play, 4-1 overall. That'll wrap us up from Starkville, and we will be in College Station next week.